Hi guys, welcome back to Coffee Talk with Mike and Janell. We missed last week and I apologize, but we were in New York City doing some pretty cool work with our collaborators in Brooklyn and Staten Island. So we're back. This is our 10th episode and we actually wanted to change it up a little bit. And instead of talking about a clinical topic, we decided we would like to discuss our experience with working with all the wonderful families that we do.
Yeah. As Janelle said, we just got back from New York City, doing consults and training, with the team down there, COVID has really kind of messed up everyone's lives, and we've had to adjust with Teams meetings and Zoom meetings. But at its genesis, APIC's a mobile team,
Mm-hmm.
right? We started and continue to do home visits. Over the last 6 years, we've done, oh boy, I don't know, over 3,000 home visits. And we say home, but we really mean wherever the individual is. So it could be a home, it could be a group home, it could be a hospital, it could be a jail. And been able to work with 1,600 plus families during that time. And we talk about, meeting. Initially, we talked about APEC meets families with where they're at. And I think what Janelle and I meant by that was, where they're at by their location.
We'll go to where they are.
Exactly. And there's a whole bunch of reasons, diagnostically and otherwise, reasons why we would like to see people in their own environment. It gives us a better understanding of the family, of the individual, of what challenges they have, and it's really helpful. But I think that's evolved over time to really meaning, we meet families where they're at on many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Where they at during the kind of journey of getting a developmental diagnosis, and so is it, where they're at in the initial stages of maybe getting an autism diagnosis, where they're at with their thoughts about medication and other treatments,
Yeah.
where they're at about a potential residential placement or a hospitalization, where they're at about end of life issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what struck me most as we reflect over the last 6 years and thinking about this 10th episode of families like that we come to their house. I mean, we come to people's homes on their schedules free of charge to help treat very complex and difficult things, and I think that's a pretty good service. But on the flip side, families let us into their homes, often having never met us, maybe only even having our names, and share with us their challenges and their vulnerabilities,
Yes.
at some of the most difficult times in their lives. And it's quite humbling to be able to partner with families in that way. And I think it's certainly what I love about APEC, and I think some of the things that make it really work and make it special and different from other services.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of discussions about that and having the ability to go into homes and really work with these folks when they're, having a lot of challenges and difficulties and they're very stressed out and don't have much hope. And I know you've seen a lot throughout your years of working in the healthcare field in your various positions, but with me in different capacities, working with at-risk, families, youths, children, that sort of thing. I would have to say I never imagined ending up in this field and doing what APIC does, but I absolutely love it. And I think our families know that we're genuine. And meeting folks where they're at is so important because they need to be heard and they need to be understood. And our families know the kids that they live with the best. We need to hear from them what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I think it's helpful to give them the opportunity to tell their story, because often they haven't had time, certainly not in a busy psychiatric appointment, but by having families have the opportunity to tell their story,
yes,
it makes our job all that much easier, because the reality of it is individuals and families know themselves much better than any provider ever will. And if you give them the chance on their own level, in their own time, to express that, it makes the treatment that much more effective.
Yeah, and it was funny because when we initially started, it was this very clinical, traditional kind of intake process, very lengthy and very cumbersome. And we've really curtailed that, and it's essentially, what do you guys need?
Yeah,
what is missing? What can we do to make your lives better? Where do you see your son, your daughter? What can we do to help you get there? What are the barriers? What can we do to remove them? So I'm really glad with where we've ended up, and I'm really grateful for the families allowing us to learn from them, because I think we learn from them as much as they learn from us.
Well,
So,
and I certainly have learned far more about autism and developmental disabilities from the
Mhm.
families and individuals that we serve than I ever did in med school or residency. So I mean, next week we'll get back to the clinical stuff and the treatment pearls, but it is nice to have the opportunity to sit back, reflect a little bit about kind of the journey that we've been on through APIC and with the families that we've served, and looking forward to many more years of doing the same.
Yes, indeed.
So with that,
All right. Until next time, folks.
APIC
APEC
out.
out.